Were you around when Sid and Arn Anderson had their fight?
No, I wasn't. I was still working part time for WCW, and when I heard about it, I mean, uh, that was, it's been kind of glossed over, but I mean, they're lucky nobody died. I mean, they both got stabbed in the neck and the chest and the leg. I mean, I've heard multiple stories about it, but the only two that really know what happened are Sid and Arn, and you're going to hear one side that's Sid's, one side that's Arn. But what was, I got to give Arn a lot of credit. When they were going to sign Sid, they asked Arn if he was cool with it, and he said, yeah. So a lot of guys would have held it against. So I got to say that Arn's a big man.
What was Sid like to deal with in WCW?
I had a wonderful relationship with Sid Vicious. If you told Sid straight up what was going to happen, he would go along with it. As long as you didn't bullshit him. I mean, he put Benoit over for me in the middle of the ring with the crossface. And he didn't want to do it. He did not want to do it. I mean, I was in the room. I went to the room with him and me by myself with him, and we talked. And he had every reason in the world to tell me why he didn't want to do it. I said, well, it's this kid's time. And he said, I'll do it. And he could have went to somebody else, and some of his other faction, not just Eric, he could have went and maybe would have been overturned. But he was, to me, easy to work with.
Yeah, I like Sid Vicious a lot. I got along good with him, but I couldn't really bring him with us or travel with him. So it was kind of stuck in the
why does Sid get such a bad reputation? I'll just ask that now because in our deal, like, of course, I've dealt with him a lot, and he's always been a pleasure to deal with. But you always hear such horrible things about Sid from people.
I don't know. Me, I consider him to be my best friend ever in the business. Like, we had so much fun together. Like, recently, one of the girls that we met during some different tours in Germany, she had been back in touch with me. She's a flight attendant now for a big company. She's coming in Montreal at the end of the month, and I'm gonna have a dinner with her and whatever, an evening, just going to eat and just tell stories, And she taught me and said we were really nice and gentlemen and really never, did anything wrong to anyone, and even being drunk or whatever, we were just having fun. I mean, I really never saw Sid losing it, being drunk, except if somebody was really looking for it. Like, let's say we were walking in Memphis for, I think Cheryl Crow was the singer there, and it was like someone just bugging his wife all the time, and I saw him snap there, but the guy was just after his wife nonstop. And hey, Sid, your wife's looking good, and I like your wife, and he snapped there. He was snappy at some points, but for a reason, But with me, we never had an argument, me and Sid.
What happened with that Arn Anderson thing? Did he ever tell you the behind the scenes?
Yeah, he told me his versions.
Was he just being harassed into it, or was just all
to me?
Alcohol?
He said Arn started the whole thing. Arn was the first one to try to stab him with the little scissors, because it started at the bar,
right?
Where they were saying that Flair is too old. He should get out of the business.
Because Sid was a horseman then, right, or something?
He was just Sid Vicious, I guess. And it was in England.
Okay.
In Europe, anyways. And it's bashing Flair, basically. And Arn got involved saying, hey, you should respect the guy and blah, blah, blah. I told maybe Arn to fuck off, and go back to your room or something like that. And on his way back to his room, Arn's doors was open and started to get at it like verbally with Sid, and reached out for like little scissors, and I think just Sid grabbed it off his hands and stabbed him like 13, 14 times.
Yeah.
But
messy situation.
yeah, but didn't go to jail, and eventually, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8, a few years after they worked it out, like they came to talk to each other again.
And what was the incident with Pillman? The infamous squeegee incident. Did he ever tell you about that?
No, with Sid and Pillman?
Yeah.
Never asked him. I didn't know. I think that I didn't heard. Like, if say I didn't heard, like the thing with Arn, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
So I asked him.
Yeah.
Because I was so close to him that I could ask him probably anything. Like, he was close to, he knew, like, my sister had leukemia, and he was very close to my family, to my mom and dad. He was almost part of the family. And I was like, when I went to work for Power Pro Wrestling, which was like the NXT back then of the WWF in Memphis, I just stayed at his house. First, I rented a condo, and then eventually he said, just come to my house and just live with the family. So I was there. His wife was nice, generous, like had a maid there, helping out with the kids and everything. And we were going to the gyms every morning and working out twice a day. And then Power Pro, we had like maybe 3, 4 shows a week. It was not a full schedule, so it's pretty some time off there. So took care of me there, and had this phone call right when I was there at his house. Eric Bischoff called him offered him the big deal for WCW.
Oh, when he came back at the end there.
Yeah, the 1.2. Then he said yes. Then he said that's the first year. It was 1.2, 4 years. Then he was happy with that, but then he said, Bischoff said after 1.2, 1.3, 1.5, and it went up to many millions. So he was really happy with that deal.
And he said he ended up saving his money pretty well, didn't he, or something?
He really never changed much. He kept that same house. He was not a big spender. He likes, he works on his. He has a special car that it's not like a car. It's like some sort of a Jeep. It puts a real strong engine in it, the tires, and but his best friend is mechanical, so it doesn't cost him that much. The parts, it's like they're babies together. Those guys, they just work on the Jeep all the time, and it can make the mud go up 50 feet in the air. It's really, really strong. It's a nice Jeep. It's very, very hot. But other than that, it's not a big spender.
First time I ever saw Sid, met Sid and I kind of started together. I started a little before Sid. I saw Sid, I can't remember the name of that gym. It used to be a chain in Memphis. But I look and come in the gym, start my workout and do, and I'm watching big Sid training. First time I saw Sid, he was doing straight bar curls with 185 pounds, and he was repping it. Yeah. Repping it, 1983. And I went over to him, I went, damn. I said, you need to get in the gym. Like that. And he goes, oh, I'm trying. Like that. And he knew who I was I was doing jobs on TV. I wasn't full-time. 83 to 86, I was part-time. We had load trucks around my, I got it on full-time. And he introduced himself and that and did. And he said I think he tried out for like World League football or something, USFL, something like that.
Yeah, USFL.
Yeah. He had done that. And he was getting ready to start training with Tojo. And I said, well, great. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm excited. He goes, I can't wait to do it. I remember he goes, Tojo thinks I got a good chance. I looked and I went, good chance? I said, oh, you got a good chance. I need to go back to school now, because he was a monster, monster. I guess there was a little friction with the Road Warriors and Skyscraper or something. You know what I mean? Or something. And I can remember that. I remember being at the gym with them, and Sid had that look. Oh God, man, the guys didn't look like that then, and Undertaker looked great too, but he wasn't as cut like Sid, But I mean, he was impressive looking, they made the Road Warriors look like midgets, as far as their height and just a big guy, but there's a lot of heat there, I believe. Might have been a little jealousy, with that. And Sid sound off, man. He didn't care. He didn't go off. I never seen it. Well, I don't know if you say that, but let's just say he can smoke some of the biggest cigars you've ever seen.
He doesn't hide that anymore. He doesn't care anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he doesn't care.
I've never seen anyone that can roll a blunt the size of Sid. He was a big 6'8", 3 something. He trained like a god. Sid, back in, honestly, what I can remember, Sid, I remember him saying this, he would take in 500 grams of protein a day. That's a lot. Sid and Bill didn't always get along either. I remember this. Oh my God, I remember this. 89, I want to say. I just come back from Japan. Once a month, they do Nashville on Thursdays. And then because the third or fourth Saturday, they do Jonesboro, Arkansas. They wouldn't do Nashville. And a lot of times they do Nashville there, and on the Saturday, that same night, down around Mississippi, around there, Lawler would work around Memphis somewhere on a spot show, Friday and Saturdays. But anyway, we're in Nashville on that Thursday night, always at the Bad House. I'd been gone 2-3 weeks. Sid had come in, and he wasn't doing the humongous. He was just Sid, and him and Bill had heat over something. I don't know, but I think one of the boys, they did a double battle royal, and somebody got cute with Sid, and I don't remember who it was. I can't remember who the guy was. That's what I heard. I heard Sid picked a guy up, pressed him, and threw him in the other ring. A ring full of guys. Yeah. And they didn't see it coming, and then Bill got hot about that. And him and Sid had heat. But Taker, that's similar to that, But anyway, I didn't know what was going on. All I know is it was outside the ring, and somebody busted out like an 8-man tag. We all worked once, and then I'll come back 8-man. Nobody, right? You're tired, wore out. It's a horrible house, and get paid off the house, So Sid was waffling Bill, and I didn't know what was going on. I went around him, what the hell's going on? He goes, fuck you. He said, raged on me, like that. And he come at me, I went, whoa. He like swung, and I went in behind and ducked and grabbed him. I said, Sid, calm down. Like that, I said, calm down, man. Come on. I didn't know what, how it is. It's between them. It wasn't nothing to do with me. And it was kind of, and Bill come and run him and kind of his lower back in the apron. And old Sid went off. He like, and I go flying this way. And then Bill just took off running. And then it's me, right? And I go, whoa, Sid, it's crazy here. And we get in the ring. He takes his weight belt off, comes after me, and just charged me. And I went in behind him, and I wouldn't say a takedown. Let's say I got him off his feet and just stayed behind him. You know what I mean? And he was going the fuck off. And you know what I mean? And Bill run across and tried to punt him, kick him in the head. And oh God, he went off. That was Thursday night. I see him at TV, and we're walking down the hall, and I went, whoa. I said, is everything okay here? Like that. He goes, yeah. I said, good God, dude. What the hell? Yeah. But Bill could piss off big guys like that. He had that. He can have that complex, and big guys can have that. You know what I mean?
Sid is a guy that we've used in our company in Canada a lot, and we've done 2 interviews with now. I know he started with you in your territory, and it went on to WCW. But before we get into WCW, could you just talk about him and your personal territory.
Yeah. I had Downtown Bruno. You familiar with Downtown
Harvey
Bruno?
Whippleman.
Harvey Whippleman, Downtown Bruno. He was sending me pictures of him and guys, and he was up in Pittsburgh, I guess, and he wanted to come in and work for us. And I looked at the pictures, ridiculous. I'd never hire this guy. He's a little bitty twerp thing. I'd never hire him. And so I just always, if I'd send something back, I'd say, hey, you find me a monster. Find me a monster. Find me a monster. And one day he sends me the picture, him and Sid, in the Lord Humongous outfit. Ooh, I look at that picture and I say, give him a call. So that's the start of Downtown Bruno, Harvey Whippleman. He comes in with Sid. Sid comes in just like Hogan, just greener than a dadgum pepper sprout. And so we got to put him with somebody good. Hey, remember there's a bear hug. Y'all fight that bear hug, do this and that and that. And same thing. The son of a gun in 8-10 weeks' time is selling out my houses. That just the look. The action, and we're trying to get a good match. Oh God, how are we going to get a good match out of this guy? But we're working on it, and he makes an improvement. And he does real good. Then we done him a favor. So now you wonder, when are you going to get the favor done back for you? What's going to happen back for you? And Sid, later on, is the reason that I go as Colonel Parker into WCW.
I don't know if you remember this match, but there's now a match that's a little bit famous on the internet of you and Sid against these two jobbers, and the one guy didn't seem like he was trained at all. Do you have any memories of that match at all?
Yeah, I was in Texas. The guy was getting up before I was on bumps. I mean, we gave him a power move, and the guy was getting on. He wasn't selling, and so I got a little rough with him.
Yeah, I mean, you actually kept your cool fairly well compared to how badly he was.
The bad thing of that, I was just talking about it yesterday with somebody. The guy ran into Sid, knocked Sid down.
Yeah.
And that didn't look good for Sid.
And what surprised me was that was a taped show too, and the version they put on TV wasn't edited at all.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, like it shows all the screw ups in that match.
It got worse for the guy when he got back. He got backstage.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy didn't. I don't know what the guy was trying to prove. I don't know. He paid for it.
Sid Vicious too, who we just interviewed.
Sid never reached his full potential. He should have. Because, boy, he had the look and was a decent worker. He lived over in West Memphis, Arkansas, right across the river. And, it wasn't the right timing for me to really work with him and push him. But he could have been another Hogan.
You think if he had stayed with WWE for a longer period of time during his first run, that may have happened instead of switching back and forth?
Yeah.
Have you heard the squeegee story?
With Brian Pillman?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, you were there for that?
Yeah.
No, I've actually asked a few people about that, but they've only heard it. So yeah, that would be a great one.
Yeah. We were at the place called The Dungeon. It was the bar in the hotel in Atlanta where everybody stayed. Used to be Ramada. I don't know what it is now. And they gave us a good price, and they had a bar down there, and they called it The Dungeon. And it was just, so many crazy stories have happened down there. After TV, all the main guys would show up there. But so Sid worked for WWF at the time. He don't even know why he was in Atlanta, but he happened to come in the bar, and he got in Pillman and Mike Graham's face. Now, Pillman and Mike, especially Mike Graham, Pillman and Mike Graham were both small. But Mike Graham especially was a tough guy. He was an amateur wrestler, and he didn't care if you were 5'6" or 6'5" or whatever. He wasn't going to back down. He was a tough guy. And they started talking, and he was talking about how, WWF is so much better and WCW sucks. And, Mike said, why the hell are you here in this bar? And it got heated, and it got heated, it got heated. And Sid goes, I'm not going to let you talk to me like that. You'll see. And he went out to his car. He goes, I'm going out to my car. Well, we're all thinking he's getting like a gun or a knife. It had gotten really heated. And, there was a little bit of worry in the room. The guy's going to come, start shooting. I'll never forget. He walks in with a squeegee, where you wipe the tire, the ice from your car or the windshield wiper. And goes, come on, man. And instead of a fight breaking out, everybody in the entire hotel bar started laughing. And Sid was so humiliated by that, he probably to this day still wishes it never happened. But I mean, it was just that we thought he was going to get like a weapon. And the guy brought a squeegee into the bar, and everybody just started laughing, and Sid stormed out. And that story will live on in infamy. But that place, the dungeon, was a crazy place, man.
I just got to ask you about the Psycho Sid stabbing incident in WCW since you brought up Sid. Because I know you were there for that.
I was there for that.
Can you tell us that?
Basically, I'm not going to tell you the full story. I'm going to say it. If you heard it, you heard it. If you haven't heard it, you're going to have to read the book to find out. Give you a little detail. It was basically just Arn Anderson, Sid Vicious, pair of scissors, 122 stab wounds, blood this squirting out this way, that way, every which way and shit. People with broken nose, people had to have emergency surgery, shit like that. You know what I mean? Shit was fucked up. Then I had to be on the phone. I had to call motherfucker wives, get the motherfucker's real name, take the motherfucking information. Arn Anderson, remember, I saved your life, bitch. You was in power and you still didn't use your power to your advantage. Because I still was jobless. You owe me. Remember, saved your life. Saved your life.
The infamous incident with Arn Anderson in Europe, which I guess you were the agent for that tour.
Unfortunately. All right, you want the true story? Your guide has no marbles in the race and was there.
Yes.
They got into bickering at one another in the bar like the boys do when they're drinking. And they said some nasty things to one another. Well, Arn Anderson, you're just Ric Flair's buddy. That's the only reason you get booked. Well, you're just a big steroid head. That's the only reason you get that kind of back and forth. So my room was right here, and Orange was across the road from him. So I hear Sid Vicious yelling at Arn Anderson, where are you, you son of a bitch? So Arn has come down trying to get in his door, and Sid hits him on the door opens, and Sid hits him with the leg of a chair that Sid had been carrying. Arn falls in, and I think he may have landed on the bed because he comes out with the scissors in his hand. Sid took off up to his room, and he was trying to get his key in the door, and Arn run up and stabbed him in the side. Boom, boom, boom. I said, oh my God. So I think my second wife was married to him then, so I said, oh my God, he's stabbing him. So what are you going to do? There's blood pouring out of his side there, and Sid's holding his side. So Sid goes outside and falls over. Oh my God. Arn, sure. I'm trying to think the guy was the in-house security.
Doug Dillinger.
Yeah, Dillinger. So Dillinger comes down and says, where'd you go? I have no earthly idea. The guy, I think Sid hit Arn with a stick or something. Arn come back and stabbed Sid. Sid has run outside. He's fell over outside. He's bleeding. We need an ambulance. So the police come. They take him to the jail and do all the things. So then they send them both home. And I really don't know what happened after that. I mean, nobody got fired. Nobody, but I mean, it was just started over two guys not getting along. And
there could have been charges laid by the police over all that. So I guess everyone was involved was lucky.
yeah, in Britain it could have been.
Yeah.
And in England, but yeah. They said if you send them home in the morning, we won't arrest none of them. So they technically deported them, I guess you could say. They put them on the plane.
Which is good for you because I guess as the agent in charge, you would have been dragged into all that, the whole court case. And
I wouldn't have seen it then. I'd have been in bed. You know how that is. No, I was in bed, so I never saw nothing.
So I guess you didn't want to even dare like get anywhere close to them when this was going on because like they're too wild.
It was ridiculous. Two big old boys and little old me getting in the middle of that. No, sir.
And Arn Anderson, we know he was a great technical worker, but it seems like WWE constantly tries to make it out like he was more over than he was, just the way that they try and make history out. Do you think that's just because of his friendship with Ric Flair?
Well, that and the Four Horsemen. I mean, and he was one of them.
Yeah.
So the Four Horsemen were over.
Yeah.
So on that alone, you could say, well, the kid was over, but he was never over single Arn Anderson.
Yeah. What did you think of Sid as a wrestler and a draw?
He drew a few dollars in Memphis. He worked with Lawler in Memphis, drew money.
Were you around when that fight occurred with Sid and Anderson?
Yeah. Tell you what, here, real quick, I'll give you the chronology on this. We had worked all week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks hard, 3 weeks hard. And then we were supposed to, after 3 weeks of hard work, and you're tired, we're supposed to meet in at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, meet at the airport in Florida at this one terminal, private for us, right? And so they've got all the drinks, they're all loaded. So we're all there and we're all beat up. So, I've been 3 weeks on the road and I'm beat up. So I'm taking a couple pain pills, getting ready to get on this long plane ride over to the deal. And, I was riding first class. So, I wasn't worried too much. But you take pain pills, and then you take a couple muscle relaxers, and then you take Valiums. Not too many, but just enough to relax you, because that plane ride, your legs get tight, and you can't stand up after a while, Your back hurts, and it's like, but those, they just kind of keep you loose. And if you overdo them, well, then you're an idiot. But if you don't, they could be a very helpful tool.
That's the reason they're created.
Yeah, but, if you overuse them and you're throwing up and, it's just crazy. So we're this plane ride over there was just crazy, and then we land. So now we're talking about 3 weeks of work, and then the plane ride, and then the party at the terminal, and then the plane ride, right? And then we get there, and the sun's coming up, and okay, guys, get on the bus. Drove 3 hours and wrestled. Like, wait a minute, we're not going to the hotel and sleep? Because that blew me away after all that,
That's a long time.
And then wrestled, and then got on the bus again and drove another
to the next town.
4 hours to the next town. Didn't stay in that town. I thought, well, we'll wrestle, and everyone will get off the bus, and then we'll wrestle and then go to a hotel and, sleep it off and travel the next day. No, that night, and that was it. So we finally got there, and it was sun up, and
there was drinking on the bus, I'll assume.
Oh yeah, just tons of it, and then so we get there, and I can't remember. It was either Stone Cold was in the bar by himself, and I think he was, and I opened my door. I had a ground floor room, and I opened my door, and I had these big white boxers on. and I see, well, that sucker's over there drinking. How did he get the bar open? Because we didn't think the bar could be open. Somehow Stone Cold got it open. And this was before his Stone Cold run, So I thought, how did he do that? So I put on my tennis shoes. So I had these boxers. Imagine a 400-pound guy in white boxers and tennis shoes, no socks, and no shirt. And I come walking over there, and Stone Cold just starts laughing. He says, well, have a beer, Leon. You look like you need one. I said, sure do. So we start drinking and talking, and this was a really nice hotel, but there was no one there. So I'm in my boxers at this bar. And Stone Cold tells the story, and it's funny as shit. Here's Leon sitting at this 5-star bar in Europe, and we're just like oblivious. I mean, you're oblivious because you're numb.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 weeks on the road is murder. And then it just kept going and kept going and kept going. And finally, they pushed us, till it popped. And suddenly, Stone Cold and I, we hear this, what's over there? My God, they're fighting. That's Arn and Sid. And we did move. We did move. We had our beer and this, shoot, they're, man, that's serious. We did not move, go help or nothing. It was just like, didn't ever cross us. We were so tired and intoxicated. It's like, I can't get over there. Shit, I don't know if I could get over there alone. What I do when I got there.
You're in your boxer.
Yeah. I'd go I'd get beat up or shoot, cause more trouble. So, next thing I know, Sid comes walking over and he's doing Frankenstein walk. So he's literally, he's Frankenstein. I said, Sid, what's wrong with you? He was my partner, so I got up off the stool. And then I looked closer and I said, man, he had a hole in his stomach right here. And it was about my thumb. And that's where they had been stabbed, those scissors, because you figure both scissors,
Because you came to Arn's room or something, and Arn had a pair of scissors in the room or something.
No, I didn't see it, so I can't comment. It's one great. All I saw was Sid coming over, so I can't comment on nothing that. But so every time Sid's heart beat, about a nickel size, right side of my finger would pump out blood, and wow, it's like he's gonna die because he wasn't just bleeding. It was like a fountain. Sid had a big, strong heart, and it would come, and then I noticed it was getting less. The blood pressure was, he was dying. And he said, Leon, I said, Sid, sit down. And I stuck my thumb in the hole. Literally, stuck my thumb in the hole. And I said, I'm going to push a little bit. And I got it in there, and it actually quit bleeding. A little was trickling out. And I said, don't move, man. And I started yelling. I said, somebody get an ambulance, and Sid's going to die. But they were scrambling, and everyone's now coming. And they said, Leon, don't move, your thumb's got it stopped. And the ambulance driver came, said, we got it now. And he pulled my thumb out. And said, you know what? Neither Arn or Sid thanked me because, and I don't expect them to, but I'm just kind of being facetious here.
Because if Sid had died, Arn would have basically,
Yeah, and Sid dies, well, he's dead, so, and I think he would have bled to death. And when I took my thumb, it was 15 more minutes, and there's no way he would have bled that much. By the time he got to me, he was already passing out. So he was ready to go out, and I stopped it, and I kept saying, just breathe, keep breathing, don't pass out. I said, don't pass out. And he was looking up in the air, he was sitting down. I had him sitting down. So, I think maybe I saved his life, but never once, hey, Leon, thanks for sticking your thumb in my ear. That was quick thinking, Not even a hoot.
And last time I talked to Sid, he told me he wasn't drinking anymore, so I guess that's probably a good reason why not.
Hey, join the club, never mind.
Were you there for the Brian Pillman incident with Sid with the squeegee?
No.
No.
I heard about it, but I don't think I saw that.
It was I was supposed to win against Sid. Shocked me. Didn't give it much thought. It was like, whatever. So, yeah.
Did you like Sid?
Yeah. Sid was a cool guy. No nonsense kind of dude. He kind of could tell that he was like just here for the money, and that's what we do. Actually, he was the first guy that came up and talked to me. We were in D.C. and they brought my guys that I walk out with. And so we're all sitting in the back taking it in, kind of more like spectators, like, wow, this is crazy. I was just beginning. And Sid came up to me and I was like going, fuck, he must have been on the gas or whatever. He is fucking huge. And he comes over and he spreads his legs all apart and he puts his hands down on his knees. So he's looking at your eye level. And I'm thinking in myself, Jesus Christ, this is a big motherfucker. And he goes, here, let me tell you something, Tank. And he starts giving me the lowdown on things. Like, it's best to keep to yourself and this and that. And I was like, oh, thanks for the info. Like, I didn't know what he was talking about because I was still ignorant about the whole deal. But as time went by, and I was like, oh, that's what Sid was talking about. But Sid was always
Straight up guy.
Like I said, they were like basically the first tag team I had there. Sid Vicious and Dangerous Dan Spivey. What a great couple of guys. Learned a lot from Dan Spivey too. He was a guy that had a lot of knowledge about this business. Learned a lot of stuff with Sid. So great team. Yeah, getting back to Sid and Danny, another great team. Had to manage them. I learned a lot with Danny and learned from Sid. And let's see, we had good matches too. I'm trying to figure out, like some of the guys that we worked with. Oh, I know. We worked with this team one time in San Antonio, I believe it's what it was, Dallas Fort Worth. I can't remember the name, but there were a couple of guys that were just coming in to do jobs. And I remember this is on YouTube too. You can probably pull it up. And this guy here didn't want to sell nothing. And I think Sid power bombed him. He jumped right back up. Spivey clotheslined him. He jumped right back up. And brother, they just looked at him. And the next thing I knew, they beat him to death. It was like a death wish. So, you know what I'm saying? Guys, he knew better. You know what I mean? You know what this business is. You know what I mean? Just go out and do your job. But it was great working with them. I wrote with Danny a little bit more than I did with Sid. So me and Danny kind of traveled together for a while. And like I said, most of every team that I had, I really didn't have no really problem with. I was able to get along with everybody.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.